There's this amazing city in China. Its 4,500 years of history hasn't shadowed its yearning for new things. And the beautiful combination of the new and the old can be seen everywhere in this city. It's one of the fastest growing cities in China, as well as one of the most livable cities. Over these past decades of urbanization, how has it emerged as a pearl of Western China? When we talk about urbanization, it's not only about the past development and the present developments that we can witness, but also the future of Chengdu. I'm Nicolai Peitersen, a social economist from Denmark and co-author of the book The Ethical Economy. I've been researching China's urbanization for many years, but what makes this city so special? And what makes Chengdu, Chengdu? Water is the source of life and human civilization. As early as 2,000 years ago, people in Chengdu realized the importance of water conservation and irrigation. In an epic feat of hydroengineering that is still benefiting the Chengdu plain today, has made the city into a world-renowned land of abundance. From 600-year-old liquor workshops and century-old tea houses to modern cafes and bars offering all varieties of craft beer and cocktails enjoyed along the rivers and canals, water constitutes the most special personality and lifestyle of people in Chengdu. A lot of especially water cities around the world is a similar lifestyle where you sit by the river and enjoy your company. So you see it in Venice, in Italy, you see it in Copenhagen, in Denmark. So water and rivers are very important for urban life. People feel comfortable, feel relaxed by water. So that's a very important part of an urban strategy, is to develop everything around the river and try to integrate the river into normal everyday urban life. Water doesn't only bring life, but also creativity. Behind me, there are more than 50-year-old manufacturing equipment and machines, and today they are more like decoration as part of this new creative park. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, this country saw rapid development in manufacturing. China's first independently developed glider was born right here. Over time, this glider factory eventually faded away from history, but with its past glory casting between these old industrial-style buildings and new modern structures, now it has become one of the most popular destinations among local youth as a hub for the creative and cultural industry. The reason why they are very important is, first of all, creating this space for young people that want to develop a business within the creative and cultural industries. At the same time, it also shows a new future lifestyle for citizens of the city. It becomes a place where they can go and get inspired. Beside the actual creative or cultural parks, there's also spaces what you would more call maker spaces or fab labs. So maker spaces are built based on the idea that you need to provide people with the technologies and the skills to build hardware, to build products. Hey Ginger.
Hi Nicolai, how are you?
Good, good.
See you this afternoon.
My friend Ginger works in a space like this.
So when we talk about the creative community, right? Because we're also living the 21st century, there's internet. It's not only just people that's within the same geolocation can come to this place to do fabrication, but also we work with people from other side of the world. How things are made nowadays, it's beyond, you know, within space.
Yeah, so it's about global innovation and distributed production, local production, and enabling that to happen. So part of sustainable urbanization is to repurpose old buildings and old, you know, factories like this.
Yeah, so in the 50s and 60s, this used to be a chemical equipment factory. And then as, you know, kind of post-industrialization period where it's now, it's kind of got repurposed into a art space, community space, also a international cultural exchange where this was used as a art exhibition space.
Right, it's a great way to repurpose old buildings and factories rather than tearing them down and making them into residential buildings or offices, keeping the history and the cultural legacy in a place and then find new purposes for it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's very important as a strategy.
You can see the layers of the city urbanization itself right here, right?
Yeah.
Here's building from 50s, 60s, and then there's 70s, there's 80s, there's 90s, all the way until you can see
the 2000s.
The 2000s. And then, you know, the building from the 70s are now being renovated again, you know, adding new faces to it. So itself is a living picture of Chengdu's urbanization right here.
If there's no cultural interaction or creative expressions, you know, in a city, people cannot feed off ideas or be inspired or create new ideas, and therefore the city becomes stagnant. For this city, full of fancy ideas, create is never a strange word. Since the 1950s, as one of the 8 major industrial construction cities in China, Chengdu has focused on the development of the electronics industry and manufacturing. At the beginning of the 21st century, with the rise of the entertainment industry in Chengdu, China's biggest professional software park, the Silicon Valley of Western China, brought nearly 250 well-known enterprises from all over the world, providing more than 30,000 jobs to the city. After that period with Chengdu Software Park, we've seen many incubators pop up in the whole of Chengdu, and today we're visiting an incubator park in Wenjiang district in Chengdu. In a quasi-unicorn company in this incubation park, Mr. Wei and his colleagues are taking pictures of the new products, which will be put on the internet for global marketing. The business model of the new age has brought this company more opportunities. The biggest trend is that you go from what you call mass manufacturing to more mass customization, meaning that the whole industry is changing from thinking in millions of units to be able to create bespoke products and craft products, so more high-value products. And the reason why that has happened is because of digital fabrication. This is the future approach to production because it makes production much more flexible and much more cost efficient when you want to do small batch production, and enabling that anyone who have a good product idea very easily, very flexibly and fairly cheaply make a prototype of their innovative product and being able to test it on the market and then scale globally with that product. And it's great to see that these technologies are becoming the mainstream in Chengdu. What we see now in Chengdu, I feel, is an explosion of entrepreneurship. You can see they do it in numerous ways, where before you were hoping to get a job in a big company or in a state company or in government. Now it's very much that you can create your own business.
我们的那个 这些同事都非常年轻，然后平均年龄大概25岁，很多是刚大学毕业，然后到我们这儿来，然后他们都来自全国各地，有北京、山东、大连等等城市。然后成都呢，现在发展得很快，也很多资源，有很多新兴产业，所以会吸引很多人才过来，对我们的这个创业呢有很大的帮助。
One indicator for measuring the urbanization of a city is population growth. Since 1949, Chengdu's permanent resident population has increased by 15 million, making it the fourth largest city in China that has more than 20 million permanent residents. In a sense, the industrial diversity of a city is an essential factor for attracting talents from other places.
想不想try it?
Yes, give me one. If you're a football team that only rely on one star player, your attacker, then it's easy for the opponent to stop that team from scoring. Whereas if you have a whole team where everyone has the skills to go forward, then it's a much more resilient team. The goal can come from anywhere. Right? And the same with industrial planning. What is great about products like this is that this is about providing the components and the tools for anyone to learn how to program or build hardware. Will generate millions of young people in China to build their own IoT company in the future. Of course, industrial upgrades have satisfied the huge consumer demand of Chengdu people. From food coupons in the 1950s to the current dazzling international luxury brands, avant-garde restaurants and cinemas, as well as the tremendous online shopping turnover, China is fast becoming the largest consumer power around the globe. It is a very successful implementation of a modern mall with high-value cafes and fashion stores integrated with the architecture from that time. The modern construction here really respects the history and the architectural tradition. Probably one of the most unique cases in the world where you've succeeded integrating the soul of a temple with the body in terms of material consumption. China central government decided a few years ago a lot of the growth, the future growth, should come from domestic and especially from consumption. So consumption from a macro level is important as a growth driver. And Chengdu in particularly has always been famous for consumption. I believe that the citizen of Chengdu has the highest average consumption level compared to salary than anyone in China. So they use a larger proportion of their salary for consumption. The unique characteristics of Chengdu has always been its lifestyle. That this sense of this is the land of abundance, right? This is a good life. This is where you can enjoy life. There's a good balance between work and leisure. It has made that people want to enjoy themselves, and part of enjoying themselves is to consume. Interestingly, on a small street next to the bustling Taikuli, you can see a miniature of Chengdu's easy life that reflects both ancient and modern times. We are in the Chengdu alley, which is another successful case of a refurbishment of an old historical alley, which has now become a boutique hotel and a tea house and a private kitchen. Nearly 100 years ago, in 1925, a merchant called Wang Chongde built a number of courtyards on Tangpo Street. They kept the original architecture, also the original doors. So from the outside, you wouldn't know that inside is fully modernized and very trendy, very cool areas. This is a new coffee bar and patisserie, which is in a very old street in the Chengdu area. It is the area that I like the most actually in Chengdu. There are new lifestyle shops like the coffee shop that pops up right next to a traditional convenience store, probably run by a local family, and a traditional local noodle bar where you can enjoy simple but very good noodles. So this mixture between the new lifestyle and the old lifestyle I find very fascinating and unique. As you can see, we're having some new artworks, combining with, of course, cocktail bars, which is popular now. Oh, look. So urban redevelopment today is about creating integrated neighborhoods and inclusive neighborhoods. So it's not only about keeping traditional historical cultural artifacts, but also keeping what you call intergenerational community. So it's both for the old people, for the middle-aged people, for the young people, and for the children. And this is very much what is happening here in the Tangpo area, keeping a much more harmonious development where everyone can coexist with each other. Yeah, so even within a week or two, I believe these two are new. I haven't seen them, and I actually live in this area. It's new?
Our
All right. Okay. So you're the designer, huh? Yes. All right. This is the future, what we'll be seeing of the new generation. They want to express their own identity, their own style of things. It's not just a product, right? It's about her idea, her lifestyle. People starting their own small businesses, and it's not only for commercial reasons. It's also to lead the lifestyle they would like, and build community around that lifestyle, and create their own little pocket in the city where they feel happy. Ni hao. Ni hao.
Ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao.
I think the local artist is capturing very much the feeling of Tangpo. You get the feeling of a good life. When I look at his drawings, this is a place that I like to be. It looks very charming.
一到晚上非常热闹这个地方。我这还有些别的东西，我们看看。
看看。Yeah, absolutely. Let's go have a drink. I love to watch, to see your drawings. 你爱红酒吗？
还可以，
也可以，
有点点。
OK。
这个就是
The detail is amazing.
老成都过去80年代的时候的状况，就是基本上都是
瓦房，成都瓦房，对，成都瓦房，对，这是老成都的少城，就是人民公园那个地方，人民公园那个地方，这个就是新型的成都了，非常漂亮，也是很时尚的一个城市，你看现在有这种小的酒吧，很好的。
So it's wonderful to see the old Chengdu, and it's amazing the development that has happened. Has the soul of the city changed over time? Do you feel?
因为成都的发展，它不光是引进了这些西方的东西，包括咖啡也好，或者是叫酒吧也好，但是它把成都的市井，它把成都的文化，根本的东西，它把保留出来。比如说，大家过去喜欢街边上吃饭，现在吃火锅、喝咖啡、聊天，都愿意在街边上，不然他把丢了以后，他就和其他的就没有任何区别了，所以他就很受各个地区人想到成都来定居的一个理由，我觉得这个是最大的吸引力。
Dozens of years ago, China was a bicycling country. Back in 1986, 63% of Beijingers bicycle in their everyday life. Only 15 years or more later, that number plummeted to 14%. Now, shared bike schemes is becoming the direct solution to the last mile transportation needs. In Chengdu, you can always find a shared bike wherever you need it. Before the 1950s, there hadn't been any concept about modern urban planning in Chengdu. And Chengdu didn't experience any major urban development until the emergence of a north-south central axis in the city. With a speed up to 100 kilometers per hour, this is China's third automatic operator metro line and the first in the whole of central and western China. When I moved from Beijing to Chengdu 8 years ago, there were only 2 metro lines in Chengdu. So within 8 years, 10 metro lines have been built and is now operating. So Chengdu has a quite comprehensive and sophisticated public transportation system now. It's very convenient and easy to move around the entire city. Located within the Sichuan Basin, the development of the aviation industry is of particular significance for this city, and with hosting more than 300 Fortune Global 500 companies and the consulates of 20 foreign countries, Chengdu has paved its way to become the third city in China with 2 international airports. As far as I can see, the new airport not only facilitates the establishment of the Chengdu-Chongqing economic circle, it also accelerates Chengdu to cooperate with the Belt and Road Initiative cities and with European countries. That of course puts pressure on Chengdu in a different way in terms of quality of hotels and the cultural experiences for foreigners in the city. But it's a great opportunity for Chengdu to become a truly international metropole. The most popular term, you could say, around the world, especially I think Europe, but also in some degree in the US, is what you call human-centric development. So when you plan a city, you look at the individual citizen and plan from that. So you look at, okay, this citizen wants to be able to have leisure, we want to have a job, we want to have a green area, we want to be able to move around, like, so all of these elements, so you plan around what makes a person happy, right? So you want a happy city. What will the future city look like? What are the future urbanization strategies? In Chengdu, we might be able to find one of the answers. Right now, Chengdu is developing the East New area, where the new airport is being built. And in the heart of this new urbanization between the East New area and Chengdu, there is the world's largest urban forest park. It's going to be the lung of this new expansion of the city. So the city will be surrounded and engulfed as an oxygen chamber for the citizens to live a sustainable and healthy and balanced life. Every day, this city is changing drastically. In the next century, what surprises will Chengdu bring us? Let's wait and see.